and nothing against her, right? This is not an attack on her at all. This is more an attack on the government and their decisions. Not even an attack, right? This is more of like a critique of the government and their decisions. No.
Welcome back to Rightly So. We are about to talk about the Brittney Griner thing. If y'all been keeping up with it, she just got released from prison. We about to go over the details, and we're going to be giving our reaction to it.
Yep, we're going to get right into it right now. Starting with President Biden and what he has to say. Let's go.
Tolerable circumstances. Brittney will soon be back in the arms of her loved ones, and she should have been there all along. This is a day we've worked toward for a long time. We never stopped pushing for her release. It took painstaking and intense negotiations, and I want to thank all the hard-working public servants across my administration who worked tirelessly to secure her release. I also want to thank the UAE for helping us facilitate Brittney's return, because that's where she landed. These past few months have been hell for Brittney and for Charlie and her entire family.
So that was President Joe Biden saying that we got Brittney Griner. We have been working tirelessly to get her out from Russia.
Yep.
Right. We did our research and we read up that she has been there since February. And if you guys don't know,
yep,
Brittney Griner went over there, and I don't know if it was for a tournament or whatever, but she had THC on her, right?
Yeah, and a vape.
A vape, right? THC and a vape, right? I personally don't agree with the law saying that she needs to do jail time, but that's what in Russia, that's the law that they have. So she got it confiscated, she got sentenced jail time, and she was put in jail, right?
Yes.
For what was the sentence? I think it was for 9 years is what was the total sentence.
Crazy.
Right? Yeah. How you feel about it?
I feel like the sentencing was crazy. I don't know. I feel like it was extreme to sentence her to 9 years just for vape. She didn't have actual weed on her or anything like that. She just happened to have a vape. Though it is illegal there in Russia, I feel like the sentencing was extreme.
Yeah, and Russia's known for their extreme laws and, their extreme reign and stuff like that. So I believe the same thing. But even with the sentencing that's here in the United States, isn't the same that's in Russia, isn't the same that's in Germany, isn't the same that's in Korea or anything like that. So even though we think it's BS, right? I mean, you do the crime, you got to do the time, right? We're going to see what it's like for Brittney Griner in jail, all right?
For the first time, a glimpse into Griner's life behind bars, doing hard labor and sleeping in a bed far too tiny for her 6'9" frame. Griner's lawyer told ESPN that she chopped off her signature dreads because it was so frigid, her hair froze. Marine veteran Paul Whelan, imprisoned in Russia since 2018 on what the U.S. calls sham espionage charges, was not part of the exchange, which freed convicted arms dealer Viktor Bout, known as the Merchant of Death. Today, Vladimir Putin did not rule out more prisoner swaps, saying anything is possible.
All right, this is kind of where we get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation. So, as you guys saw, Brittney Griner was put over there. She was in there for 10 months. The United States working tirelessly to get her back over into America from the prison. She cut her hair off. Some people were speculating that the prison actually cut her hair off themselves. They did not. She cut her own hair off because of how cold it was over there, right? And then on top of that, they traded her for a guy named Viktor Bout, who was nicknamed Merchant of Death.
Yeah, arms dealer.
An arms dealer, right? So what do you feel about that before I keep going? How do you feel?
First, can I just say something? Just cause little. Who taking the pictures and the videos of her in jail? They just like...
Oh, I mean... the little interview squad, right? Because we want to know that she's being taken care of and stuff like that, that she's not being mistreated and stuff,
I feel like for her sake and her family's sake, I know they're happy that she's home, right? So let's just say that, I do feel like the sentencing was extreme and that she didn't deserve to be in the jail time. So I don't want to take away from that.
Right.
But what I do want to say is that they swapped her out for an arms dealer who was supposed to be doing what? How many? I think 25 years?
He was supposed to be doing 25 years.
Yeah, he's served 15 years and now he's free and he's an arms dealer. He was conspiring to sell weapons that's supposed to shoot aircrafts out the sky and kill Americans and stuff like that. Like
some tough stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
We go from having somebody who's doing drugs, trading them for somebody who is responsible for multiple deaths, different parts of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Or
so,
conspiring. Yeah.
Right. And for me, what I feel like is this whole thing, and this is my opinion, right? This is just me, my opinion, not our opinion, not whatever, right? But my thing is, they did this because she's a celebrity, right? Like, she has a name. It's like, in a sense, it's just politics. They're pushing some type of agenda, like, because that's what's hot right now. You know what I'm saying? A woman celebrity or whatever. It would make more sense to trade her versus, like you guys saw in the video that we just watched, the guy, was his name, Paul Whelan, who is an actual, what was he, a spy for us?
He's the U.S. Marine.
Yeah, U.S. Marine. So an actual veteran, somebody who actually serves their country, was over there for 4 years, and he wasn't brought over, right? So it was more a push to get Brittney Griner over here, a celebrity, versus getting somebody who's actually fighting for our country. Somebody who dribbles a ball versus somebody who goes and put his life on the line for our country.
I want to say she just had a vape. I don't think she should have been over there for that long. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, when you're looking outside of that, I do feel like it is kind of crazy that we got her back so fast. She's only been over there for 10 months versus this U.S. Marine who's been in prison for the past 4 years, and they couldn't get him. And it kind of makes you think, like, they said that they could only do a 1-for-1, or they were trying to do a 2-for-1 and they couldn't do it. And it's like, did they have the opportunity to bring this Marine home and then chose not to bring the Marine home versus Brittney Griner, who, you know, like you said, who is a celebrity and who is a woman, who is black, you know, can't be looked at as politics. So it's kind of like, did they have the chance to bring Mr. Wheeler home? Like, why her over him?
Because you were saying you read something today. What did you read something about them trying to trade somebody else?
It was a guy. I can't think of the name right now, but it was a guy who is an actual murderer who killed somebody in Germany, and he's in jail in Germany, but he's Russian, and they wanted him back. They telling the United States, like, yo, we'll give you both of them for this one person, but he's not even in jail in the United States. He's in jail in Germany, and
so we have no say over whether he can be released or anything that happens with him, right?
And that kind of, I feel like, to ask the United States to do something like that, like it kind of lets you know the power that they think that we have. You know, to be like, hey, go over to your allies, because Germany is an ally, to see if y'all can get this man, and we'll give you 2 of them. Yeah,
and that's real. Like, and you know, another question that I have, even in that, like, was the sole focus to get Brittney Griner? Like, was that the mission? Like, this is the person we're bringing. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, you don't know what kind of talks are done behind closed doors as far as the presidencies and the governments, and, like, you know, like, hey, would you guys be able to give up this Marine for Viktor, what was his name, Paul Whelan for Viktor Bout, and like Russia's like, nah, we're not gonna do that, but we'll give you Brittney Griner back if you guys give us Viktor Bout. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that was it. But my mindset is that they went into it like, we're getting Brittney Griner. I don't care what's going on with anything else. That's who we're going to get. You know, we're in this to get this person. We're going to get this person. And that just makes me angry, because, again, like, to beat a dead horse, we're bringing home a celebrity. I'm at the mindset, I don't care if that was LeBron James. I don't care if that was Patrick Mahomes and stuff like that. Like, I don't care if it's a celebrity that's going over there. My thing is, the crime was so minor. You know what I'm saying? I get that. But you traded something so minor for something so valuable in the Russians' eyes. Like, the trade was unfair. The trade was lopsided. I would rather Brittney Griner stayed over there for a little bit longer, right? Not trying to, you know, be mean about it, but for her to be able to stay over there a little bit longer, and we can negotiate a little bit more for giving up Viktor Bout, right? It just was completely unfair.
I feel like if they were going to make a trade like that, then they should have got both of the Americans. I feel like if you trading over this guy who was a arms dealer, also known as the Merchant of Death, then you should have been able to get two of these people back, because he's been in jail for 15 years. He had about 10 more years left to go. And you have Whelan, who's a U.S. Marine who's been there since 2018, who's still serving time. Like, and then you got Brittney Griner, who's only been there for 10 months. Like, I feel like they should have really pushed to get both of them back, to trade somebody like Viktor Bout back, who's an arms dealer, who is a threat or was a threat to the United States.
Who's negotiating this? Like, who's sitting there negotiating, and how many prisoners of war do we have? I don't know if we have more than one prisoner of war, but in my eyes, he's a very valuable person.
So they're
to the
not
Russians.
technically prisoners of war.
Well, right.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
so-
I keep saying that. Yeah, right.
I agree. Like
Yeah.
who was doing a negotiation? Because usually when you get somebody back, a prisoner swap or something, like you get somebody back who you know is wrongfully imprisoned and stuff like that, it's a little bit more joyous. It's a little bit more of all of the United States are happy together. But this time
Right.
around, people are divided. Like people do not think it was a good switch.
It's just saying that it's more of a, like I said, political push. People are mad that it's a celebrity. People are mad that a Marine is back there. You have people who are all about Marines, and the government is all about, service members and stuff, like veterans and stuff like that. So it kind of plays into, it doesn't matter who you have, as long as we steal somebody important from you, we can get whoever back that we want. We can negotiate a lot of stuff like that.
Cause it's crazy. I've never heard of Mr. Whelan.
This
is the first time I've heard of him since.
Right.
Not even that, or looking into the Brittney Griner story and why she's in jail. I didn't even hear about him.
Right.
But now that she's free, now I'm hearing like, it's a U.S. Marine that's still locked up. I've never heard of him until now. So it's kind of like, what was this? Where the talks, and though it may have been talks about getting him back, I feel like
it wasn't nearly to this magnitude.
Yeah.
Where he's been in there for 4 years. Social media was live and well 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So for somebody who doesn't watch anything that has to do with the WNBA, for somebody who doesn't even know really anything about Brittney Griner, she's thrown in your face 24/7, and nothing against her, right? This is not an attack on her at all. This is more an attack on the government and their decisions. Not even an attack, right? This is more of like a critique of the government and their decisions.
And it was I believe it was her wife who was really making like more of to make it known, like, y'all really, her wife got put in jail over drugs, and she felt like the government wasn't doing enough.
I bet you Paul Whelan, whoever his family is probably doing the same thing, but it didn't reach any ears as much as it did him because she's a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I'm like, it's just sad, that he's still there. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I do feel like the sentence that Brittney Griner had was uncalled for, is unjustified. 9 years for a vape pen. I do feel like it's a political ploy on Russia's part too, because now they know, we got somebody of importance. We got somebody else from the U.S. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they use that as leverage as well, and it obviously worked in their favor because they got an arms dealer back, and he got some kind of political pool, or the government really favored this Viktor Bout guy, and now he's back in Russia, and his homecoming was a celebration,
right?
People, Russia's really happy, and they feel like this is a win for
that
Putin.
Is a win. You negotiated the mess out of that, and it just looks bad on us. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue. We got one more video. We're going to watch what another reporter has to say about this whole situation. Right? So let's get into it.
Margaret, what's your assessment of the Secretary of State's answer to your question, and how are different constituencies here and abroad evaluating this decision?
Well, that phrase, at least, is an important one. The White House is arguing that it was left with no choice. Either take this single trade or don't bring any Americans home. Russia had turned down earlier offers of a 2-for-2 swap, a 2-for-1 swap, saying no. This will only be about Brittney Griner. And Viktor Bout was very important to the Kremlin. It was the Kremlin and the White House communicating through intelligence channels, the FSB and the CIA, passing messages back and forth. In terms of what precedent this sets, that's the big question. And as we've been talking about, there is some outcry among law enforcement officials who chased Viktor Bout around the world, trying to prosecute him and put him behind bars. In fact, America fought to extradite him from Thailand so he would be here in prison, and then he was used in a trade. So there's some frustration there that this sets a dangerous precedent that shows if you capture the right famous American, you can get something, Vladimir Putin, you really do want. But as you heard the secretary say, they felt like they really did need to try to bring her home, and that was a top priority. But then it raises questions of who is left behind.
As long as you have somebody of high importance, an MVP, and that's kind of scary too, because now people who travel, as far as celebrities, whether they be sports or in the whatever entertainment business, they could be taken advantage of.
That is scary to think about that.
Outside of the country, and then now we got to trade. Like, I don't know who we have as prisoners from other countries that countries want them or anything like that. But that's just something scary to think about. Like, hey, me as a celebrity of whatever status, if I go somewhere and they want to, you know, mess around and take me into custody and stuff like that,
and you got to be on your P's and Q's to make sure that you know the laws of where you're going, just so nothing like this can happen. Because unfortunately, she did have an illegal substance, and she got convicted for it. And it was just, I feel like it was unjustified, the sentencing. But it's a possibility that, like you're saying, a celebrity can go to Russia and go to jail, and now it puts something on the table. It gives them an idea, like, oh, okay,
it's like a target on the back. Like, if you have any type of status, you kind of have a target on your back. You know, that's pretty scary to think about. For me, and my conclusion at the end of the day, it's a bad light on America. It's a bad light on the decisions we make. It's a bad light, and it puts us in a bad light of how we are divided amongst each other, right? And granted, what almost anything in the news and the media we're divided against, but this one was like for all the world to see. You know, we're completely divided about what we agree on, if she should have came back, if we should have got two, if we should have just held out a little bit longer with negotiations. Like, granted, yes, it was 10 months. That is a long time. I wouldn't want anybody to do 10 months. I myself wouldn't want to do 10 months or even more.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you got to look at the bigger picture as far as what is the best for everybody else.
And I want to add more on to that. I was reading an article about how this Russian TV show was, you know, basically mocking the United States, saying, and that's why we brought up the Mr. Paul Whelan. He's a white male. Oh, he's white. He's a male, and he's heterosexual. Versus Brittney Griner, who's black, a woman, and a homosexual. And it was like they were mocking the United States for having their priorities kind of messed up when it comes to the sense that this man is a U.S. veteran, or a service member, versus Brittney Griner, who is a woman celebrity.
She's an athlete.
Yeah, an athlete, and they basically mocking us that we made this trade for her versus somebody who committed to service the United States and was arrested on spy charges on the United States behalf. So it's like, you know, what you think? What, like you're saying, what do y'all think about this situation? Because it's kind of like we looked into it and we was like, you know, let's react to this, because it's a big thing to think about and to talk about. So y'all let us know in the comment what y'all think, because we kind of over here like our minds blown behind it.
Do you guys think that this was a fair trade? Do you guys think that we as Americans dropped the ball? Let us know down in the comments, and we'll make sure that we reply back to them. And this reaction video that we got actually came from one of our subscribers, so thank you to you subscriber, and
shout out to you.
And if you guys have anything else that you guys want us to react to, let us know in the comments. And we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.